Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to this midweek webinar. I am Devarsh and I am joined by my colleague Vinay for this special midweek webinar. First, the flow of the webinar will be Vinay will share his views from the on the markets from technical, and then we'll discuss about the open recommendation and the recent recommendations from our side. We'll also discuss how you can benefit from the BSPL MTF product. Will show you how the performance has been in last couple of months. So it's interesting information lined up for you. Let's just get started. Vinay, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Devarsh bhai. I hope my screen is visible. Devarsh bhai, is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Go ahead.
Yeah, so let us start the outlook on the Nifty on technical basis. So as we all know that we made an all-time high at 20,222 on 15th September, and from that all-time high, we have fallen. We have seen a correction of almost 900 points. So recent today's low was the lowest low in this particular swing, which was 19,333. And what has happened is, like, from today's low we have seen a recovery of more than 100 points. So that was a nice recovery from the lower levels on the back of some buying in FMCG and IT stocks. So this candlestick pattern which is formed today is typically called dragonfly doji candlestick pattern, and this has formed on the daily chart. So implication of this candlestick is bullish, considering, and it will be confirmed only if we see follow buying tomorrow. So today's high is 19,457, around which we have closed. Today's close is around that only. High and close is almost same, and that is why we have seen this formation of dragonfly doji. Now, if we see follow-up buying coming in tomorrow, then the implication of this candlestick will confirm, and we can see some extension of the pullback. Now, this pullback up to which level it can go? Now we have been witnessing that Nifty has been finding resistance on this particular line. The orange line you can see on the screen, which is nothing but the 20 days exponential moving average. So for previously we've seen that for 6-7 session Nifty found resistance on its 20 days EMA and was not able to sustain above that, and in fact saw supply coming in from that level. So to be precise, this 20 days EMA is placed at 19,676. So you can say approximate resistance for the Nifty is 19,700. Unless we see a decisive close above 19,700, the whatever pullback and whatever the rise which we see from here, it will be turn out to be just a dead cat bounce. So we need to see tomorrow if follow buying comes, then definitely it can extend the pullback, but 19,700 is a very strong resistance. As I discussed, that 20 days EMA is placed around that level, and it needs to be surpassed on closing basis. So no doubt we have recovered from the low in today's session, but looking at the 900 points fall from the all-time high, so intermediate trend is still negative. So that needs to be taken into consideration, and that is why we are giving importance to the resistance which is placed in 19,700. Looking at the support, yeah, so for today's low 19,333 is today's low, which is definitely becomes the strong support for now. And this previous swing low of the August month was placed at 19,223 228 odd levels. So you can say the base for the Nifty is there in the range of 19,230 to 19,330. If Nifty is able to hold this level, then we may see some pullback, or we may see some consolidation. But frankly speaking, the way market has given the movement in the recent past, it would be difficult for Nifty and Bank Nifty to sustain at higher level. It looks like that because breadth has also deteriorated in today's session. So what we believe is the support for the Nifty is 19,230 to 300 odd levels. On the upside, 19,700 will continue to act as a strong resistance. Until then, I am expecting overall market Nifty to remain in the consolidation. Now let us move to Bank Nifty. Now, Bank Nifty has also seen some recovery, but not as compared to Nifty. The recovery was not that strong in Bank Nifty because Nifty was recovered on the back of IT stocks support and FMCG stocks support. It is they carry good weightage in the Nifty, and that is why Nifty outperformed the Bank Nifty in today's session. But if you were to look at this trend line, this is the daily chart of Bank Nifty spot. So if we were to see this Bank Nifty daily chart, there is a strong trend line support around near today's low. Today's low was 43,850 odd level. So this is a stop loss for the Bank Nifty long position. If we were to see a level below 43,850 in spot Bank Nifty, we may see a significant downside on the in the short term. So already the trend is bearish, but if this support is breached further 43,850, then we may see a further momentum selling coming in the Bank Nifty, which could drag Bank Nifty 1,000 points more on the downside. So it is very important that Bank Nifty should hold this level. Today's low 43,850 should be held, otherwise it will continue to remain on the downtrend and 1,000 points further fall can be seen. So today, after falling 2%, 3% from high, now it has reached to support. If it is not holding this support, then we can see extension of the correction, and that could be even with the momentum, and that could be even larger than 1,000 points also. So this levels needs to be taken care of. As far as resistance for the Bank Nifty is concerned, if pullback comes, then 44,750 would act as a strong resistance. So around a 700 to 800 points higher from this level, there is a strong resistance. So 44,700 to 44,800 will act as a resistance for the Bank Nifty. Now let us move to the Nifty Midcap Index. Now this you can see over here, today Nifty Midcap Index fell more than 1.3%. So the development which has happened today is the 20 days EMA breach. So since March 2023, in last 6 months, we did not see Nifty Midcap Index breaking below its 20 days EMA. Now today is the first session after 6 months that Nifty Midcap Index closed below its 20 days EMA, and this has happened for the first time in last 6 months. So we have to give respect to this development. It is a negative development, and as we know, midcap index is a very high beta index. Stocks can fall fast. So till now they have outperformed, but it might happen that if market does not sustain at higher level, then mid cap and small cap can also see a panic selling coming in. So we have to be cautious, we have to be vigilant in the coming days. So though despite the recovery what we have seen from today's low, we have to be cautious in coming days because development in mid cap index is not that great. Now let us look at the Nifty small cap index. Now relatively Nifty small cap index is placed better as compared to the mid cap, but here also we can see that this double top formation is there around 12,900 odd levels. So 12,900 current level is 12,660. So 12,900 is a double top resistance. So we can also not rule out the possibility of the correction and the fall in the small cap index. So here also we have to be vigilant, and we have to take care because stop loss needs to be placed at the right levels, because otherwise we will incur a lot of big losses also in our positional MTF positional as well as the trading position. So for traders it is advisable that we should, whatever position we carry in the small cap and mid cap, should be held with the tight stop losses, appropriate stop losses. Otherwise a big downfall we may see in our portfolio. So we advise cautious stance in small cap and mid caps from here. Now looking about the sectors, so the sector which has turned bearish is the Nifty Auto Index. So after a long outperformance, Nifty Auto Index starts looking weak on the chart. So Nifty Auto Index has closed below its 20 days EMA for the second consecutive session. So after giving a good performance in last 6 months, now it has turned weak, and we can expect an extension of the correction in the auto sector. So auto sector is looking weak on the charts, and the PSU banking stocks which were performing very well previously, today we saw profit booking in that. So overall intermediate and primary trend of the PSU bank is positive, while auto sector has turned negative on the short term charts, in which we can expect some correction in the coming days. So that is what I wanted to share about the market technicals, and over to you, Devarsh, now.
Okay, thank you, Vinay. I hope my screen is visible. Can you see my screen, Vinay?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So markets, mid cap and small cap are little cautious. Index has come to a very good support as we have been bringing out different recommendations across the various categories. I just want to highlight what has been our track record. So from 1st of May, we have issued more than 104 BSPL recommendations, and I'll share the track record at the end of this webinar. Recently, we booked one Union Bank with a gain of around 4%. On the fundamental side, 103 recommendations have been issued, and recently, Datamatics, Union Bank, Aster DM, and Som Distilleries have achieved their targets this week. So four have achieved their targets. Another new two recommendations are issued for the longer term. First is the PRIX transmission, and the other is IDFC. Two e-margin positional calls on Ajanta Pharma and Gujarat Alkali have been issued. And as usual, I've been asking investors, we have been asking if you want to invest for a longer term, 18 DIY SIP picks have been issued. So as I mentioned here, two new recommendations in the form of fundamental side we have issued. Let's discuss them. IDFC and PIX transmission. So IDFC, we are asking investors to invest in this price around 130 and then average it between 116 to 118 band for the targets of 145 and 158. It is IDFC Limited. There are two rationale. One is the longer term investment idea where the credit growth is coming in and which is helping it to grow its book and be profitable. Apart from that, there is also an arbitrage opportunity where IDFC is trading at a 14% discount to the longer term switch to IDFC Bank, and that also offers an opportunity for the longer term investors. So that's the first idea. Second is PIX transmission around 1180 and then average around 1065 for the targets of 1298 and 1401. The natural rubber prices, which is the key raw material for this company, has corrected, and that gives it the room to increase its margin in the near term. They have already completed the expansion plan, and that should help it grow for next 2 to 3 years. So with the target of 1400, we have issued the report for next 2 to 3 quarters. So as I mentioned in the beginning, since 1st of April, we have issued 127 BSPL recommendations. Suppose if somebody were to replicate these recommendations and say you started with a corpus of 10 lakh rupees, you intend to put in 50,000 rupees per recommendation. So at a time, maximum you can invest is up to 20 ideas. And we have seen that in last 6 months, you at any given time, maximum 20 recommendations were open. Average recommendations were open were only 12. So it's not that you required 10 lakh rupees across the board. You require only about 6 lakh rupees on an average, and that is as the profit comes in from the earlier recommendation, that corpus even goes down as you accumulate profit. But I'm just assuming that you had 10 lakh rupees and you did not put it in anywhere else, you just utilized it. On the 10 lakh rupees, the average gross profit was around 4,54,000 rupees. So this 10 lakh rupees you would have also given in the form of collateral, the stocks. You did not bring in everything in the cash margin. So even if you had just hold these stocks, you could have made this much money. The average brokerage we have assumed, and on that 12,700 rupees brokerage would have been deducted. Other charges like STT and stamp duty around 15,000 and 35,000 rupees of the interest we have deducted. So even if we deduct all these charges, the 3,90,000 rupees of profit on an investment of 10 lakh rupees, if you had religiously followed all the recommendations in the BSPL side. So on an average, around 39% return was possible, annualized about 78%. Now, many of the investors may not be, traders may not be able to replicate all to 120-second recommendation. This is just an idea. Depending upon the entry and exit and brokerage charges and others, these numbers may be little different, but the idea to show this slide is that this is the kind of money which has been made. Even if you had not put in any money, just given the 10 lakh rupees as a collateral and started using MTF or BSPL recommendation, you could easily make around 4 lakh rupees of profit. So this is the opportunity HDFC Securities Retail Research is providing in the form of BSPL recommendation. I would advise everybody to go through this recommendation and participate in them as much as possible. So that's it, folks. This is what we wanted to cover. Markets, as Vinay pointed out, there are little signs of being cautious. Other than that, markets have come to some support, and there is a possibility of some pullback, especially after today's price action. It looks like there could be small pullback, especially in the banks. Now, we have some time, so if you have any question, you can put in your question in the question window. Depending upon the screen you are using, press the question mark button and a window will pop up where you can ask your question. We'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes for the question queue to assemble, and then I'll try to answer as many as possible. Meanwhile, Vinay, from all the sectors, which one sector, you said auto is looking weak. What is the sector which is relatively strong?
Yeah, so as I discussed, the Nifty PSU Bank Index has been outperforming till today morning itself. We saw that some stocks like Union Bank, Indian Bank were at the highest point of the rally. But because of the panic which we saw during the day, those stocks also faced some profit booking. But looking at the primary and intermediate trend, I would remain bullish on the PSU Bank Index because primary and intermediate trend is quite bullish. So there could be a running correction with the market, but it is expected that PSU Bank Index will continue to outperform in medium to long term. So it is looking relatively stronger on the charts. But in the case of panic and the kind of fall which we saw today in the morning in the noon session, could be running correction, but relatively it will outperform.
Okay. We won't be able to answer any stock specific questions, Mr. Dipankar and Mr. Anil. So this is not the forum where we can discuss the individual stock ideas. Mr. Salit, so we do have, so the question is about the small case products. Yes, we do have many small case products on our website, but that are for a longer term investments where you buy and hold for at least 3 to 6 months. That kind of investment products are there on the website where many themes are covered by us. You can go through our website and choose those. Okay. Sugar sector. Vinay, how does sugar stocks look on charts?
Yeah, sugar is the sector which is looking relatively stronger. There is a big divergence between different sugar stocks, but there are a couple of stocks which are looking very strong. So relatively, we've seen that this commodity stocks like paper, sugar, and these stocks have been performing well. So yes, they can outperform relatively. There is some development on the charts on medium to long term charts. So if you select a right stock from this particular sector, then there are good chances that they will give a good return in for positional trading as well as for investment. So yes, sugar sector is looking attractive on the charts for on medium to long term charts, and I believe that the stocks which are fundamentally can do well and technically also strong can be selected, and investors and positional traders can get a good returns out of this sector.
One more question is there on the IT from technicals. How does IT stocks look in the short term?
Yeah, so today's recovery in the IT sector was good. Today, Nifty IT index rose by 0.5%, and kind of engulfing pattern I can see on the short-term charts. So I'm expecting some bounce back in the IT index, but whether it will last on, it will sustain at higher level or not, it is a big question, because as I discussed previously also, there could be a pullback on the back of IT and FMCG and some of the capital good stocks, but sustaining at higher level will be challenging for this particular sector. So there could be 1% or 1.5% recovery from this level, but at higher level I would remain cautious, and it is advisable for traders to lighten the long commitment even if it is from the IT sector.
Okay, Mr. Vinay, we cannot discuss anything about HDFC group companies as a matter of compliance policy. So that questions we will not be able to answer. That covers the questions which we have. Vinay, thank you for joining, and we can close this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you everyone.